JJ Arcega-Whiteside was so injured last year, he needed help going to the bathroom. All right, y'all, stick around. We're gonna talk. We're gonna talk a little bit about what in the heck is going on here with this guy. All right, y'all, let's get to it. Look at the top of your screen with the switch route with Matt Collins and JJ Arcega-Whiteside. I mean, Jesus. What's up, Eagles Nation? What's going on, NFL world? How you doing, division rivals? This is Steven Hyder with Gate City Sports Channel, the sports channel where the cerebral NFL fan comes for about 10 minutes of daily content. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whenever it is you get around to watching this. Once again, guys, Steven Hyder, Gate City Sports Channel. Hey, guys, I'm sorry. I'm not going to do an in-depth film breakdown today. This happens to be my wife's birthday, so happy birthday. I just don't have time to do that today, guys. Like, it's a lot of editing to do that, and she'd kill me if I was back here that long. But I don't want to leave you guys hanging high and dry without any content for the day. So, listen, there's a Twitter report that came out, and it it bothers me a little bit. Number one, I don't know how much faith to put into Twitter accounts. Like someone, John Clark putting out this Twitter report. John Clark is a reporter, guys, for NBC Philadelphia, I believe. And he puts out this Twitter thing where he's basically talking about rookie JJ Arcega-Whiteside supposedly being so banged up last year that the young man needed help not only going to the bathroom but walking around. That he had these issues walking around, things like that. Here's the thing. I don't want to beat a dude up. Like, look, man, everyone's bodies are different. I'm not saying the kid is brittle. I didn't personally see a play where I would have thought to myself, like, ooh, that's going to hurt. But you know what? Like, even guys like me who watch a lot of film, you know what I'm saying? If the ball, and you know what I'm saying? Like, if it's not going to him, you're not paying attention. So who knows? Maybe he got caught on a play that no one's seeing and we're not catching wind of it. But with that said, man, number one, I'm a little surprised that a reporter would put this out on Twitter. But then number two, that JJ Arcega-Whiteside is possibly telling his two reporters, because the fact is, it doesn't matter if it's true or not. It's just a bad look. Like, you shouldn't, you have to control your image. And I know that JJ Arcega-Whiteside is a young man, but for the love of God, can someone that works on this man's team let him know there are some things you do not reveal? You don't put yourself out there like that, because there's just no way of defending you. You cannot release stuff like that. It doesn't look good. It's not a good look on you as a person. Your mom holding an umbrella over your head during training camp, and like, you just, come on, man. You've got to understand your public image. You are a professional athlete now. That public image is a big deal, and he's making some pretty bad mistakes. And this is what I'll say. You guys know I broke down film on this kid. And if you guys haven't had a chance to watch that, guys, I'll link it at the end of this video to be up here. So that way you guys can just kind of click on it if you want to watch me, break down film on the young man. The kid's route running was not very good last year. But I will tell you this, guys, to be fair, to be completely fair in my assessment. You guys know I'm a person who breaks down film. I coach wide receivers. Like, I understand route running. And as I looked at J.J. Arcega's film from college, from Stanford, there were some don't get me wrong, guys, there were some red flags there. Number one, the level of competition, because he feasted on really bad competition. And then when he played the better teams, his production wasn't quite the same. But I will say this, he wasn't a great route runner. I mean, I could clearly see he needed some work in his route running. But I mean, he exhibited the, things you would expect an X-aligned receiver to do on those underneath routes, those in routes, out routes, comebacks and hitches and curls and, those contested area. Like, he looked like a kid with strong hands, a big body. I think that's why this is so surprising, is that a kid who is a big physical guy, I mean, he's what, 6'2", 220 something? Exhibited strong hands, ridiculous contested catch rate that he had in college, is telling us that he got so beat up in his season that he didn't really play that much, that he needed help walking and going to the bathroom. Like, it's a little shocking to hear that. It's not the greatest, punch in the arm for the confidence here to say, like, hey, man, like, I think this kid's going to get it together. And I got to be honest, man, I'm a little concerned that we didn't address the X receiver in the draft. We really and honestly, I don't know where we're at with Alshon. I mean, I don't believe any of the reports coming out about Alshon Jeffrey and being reunited with the Eagles. I'm not going to completely say and rule it out just because this whole JJ Arcega-Whiteside situation, but it still seems unlikely to me. It just looks like a public spinning of a message, guys, to try to make this person's trade value come back around as the season progresses. Because number one, he's not even going to be ready until middle of October, if not later. So he's going to be ready right around the trade deadline. So I don't necessarily even buy this story about Alshon Jeffrey, but I am very concerned because, we like to beat up on Alshon. And don't get me wrong, if he did what he's accused of doing, and I'm not saying he did or didn't do it, it's a crummy move. With that said, hey, man, you're not convincing me that J.J. Arcega-Whiteside is anywhere near Alshon Jeffrey right now. Not what I saw on film. I'm not saying this young man can't develop, and I got high hopes for Aaron Moorhead. Aaron Moorhead, I thought, is a great coach. I loved watching film of Vanderbilt last year and seeing what he did. The kid has a pretty good track record. I thought that this was a guy that was really going to benefit J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. I'm just hoping J.J. Arcega-Whiteside isn't giving up on himself. Because that's the thing that scares me about this. Don't release this kind of crap to people like John Clark. Don't do it. Just don't release this information to people like that. These people are not here to help you. They're here to help themselves, their own careers. I'm all turned in circles here when it comes to J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. Because this is a kid that I think when you watch the college film, he's better than what he played last year. He's not that bad. His route running was tremendous, was horrendous, not tremendous, horrendous last year. But I didn't think he was that bad, guys. Not to what he showed last year when you look at his college film.
Nice release, great release. He stuck pride to the outside, got up under.
He just looked like a guy that was asked to do too much too soon. And I thought just limiting his role, getting him worked into that role would do worlds of wonder for this kid. Especially if you can get a wide receiver coach in like Aaron Moorhead to teach this kid techniques to separate from defensive backs at the NFL level. Because he does need to learn how to sink his hips to gain separation at the top of his stem. He does need to learn how to release off the line of scrimmage to beat man press a little bit. He's a big physical kid. He can hand fight. But there's a couple things there. His body positioning wasn't the greatest on contested catches, surprisingly, given his contested catch rate. But I was just shocked, guys. I'll be honest with you. I was shocked to see these reports. It rubbed me the wrong way that this kid would be releasing this kind of information to people. Just like, guys, don't say stuff like this. Don't let this crap out. These reporters, even if they're here to report on the Eagles, they're not here for your best interest. They're here to advance and further their own careers, not yours. These kids have got to stop viewing these guys as if they're friendly to them. They are not friendly. They're looking for a scoop. They're looking for something to spin a fancy title around, guys. And I know that the reporters don't necessarily make their own titles anymore, but you get my point here. They're trying to get eyes on their material. And they don't care about the way they paint you, the light that they're painting you in. They don't care about that. And the Eagles have got to do more to protect these kids. You've got to do more, man. Get someone in your media department to talk to these young kids and help them with this. I mean, this is ridiculous for us to have to tell you this. Because this shouldn't be happening. We shouldn't be hearing reports like this. This is trash from the Eagles' perspective. And Howie's starting to get on the wrong side of me. I'm going to be straightforward. I'm not one of these guys that jumps on here and says, fire Howie. But I do think Howie might need to be pulled back. The reins might need to be pulled back a little bit for Howie. Because let's be real. If you bring back Jason Peters, I think you need to be stripped of your personnel decision and your personnel abilities here. Because it ain't lining up, bro. It's just not. Because now you wasted a first-round pick, second-round pick. You better hope the Jalen Hurts thing works out, or that's another second-round pick. These are decisions that, I'm sorry, we're going to look at you, and you better hope some of these guys pan out, because you can look like a genius in a year if all this pans out, or your job could really be on the line here, because some of these guys just have not been working out. All right, Joel, these are my thoughts, but you already know I'm going to ask you, man. Let me know what you think about this whole thing, about this reporting with J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. It shocked me. This crap should never surface. That's my point. This crap should never surface. This is on the Eagles for letting this crap happen with these young men. All right, y'all. You know how we close out these videos. We do a little thing where we go EAGLES. All right, guys. I'll be back with some film review later in the week. I'm sorry I couldn't do it today, but, it's my wife's birthday, guys. All right, y'all. Peace. I'm out here.